Good evening, Larson Heights Elementary, and welcome back to Bedtime Stories with Mrs. Schatzko. If you can see in the background, Losha is sacked out behind me. He is ready to go to bed now too. Tonight we are going to read yesterday we read when Sophie gets really angry. And tonight we are going to read when Sophie's feelings are really hurt by Molly Bang. Sophie loves to paint. She also loves the woods. Remember, she went to the woods yesterday to calm down when she was really angry. Mrs. Mulry is telling the class, after school, find a tree you like a lot. Look at it carefully. The trunk, the branches, the leaves. Tomorrow, you're going to paint that tree from memory. Okay, seriously, I want to be in Mrs. Mulry's class because that looks super fun. Sophie already has a favorite tree, a big beech in the woods by her house. Whenever she feels angry or sad, she climbs this tree and her anger and her sadness melt away. Sophie feels good just walking toward her tree. Her breathing is deep and slow. She looks at the beech tree carefully. The trunk is thick at the bottom and thin at the top, like a long triangle, and the branches go straight out and then curve. That is a beautiful tree. I love trees. As she climbs, Sophie feels the smooth bark under her hands. She looks closely at the bark, the branches, and the leaves. When she looks up, the leaves glow in the sun. Sophie sits on a high branch and holds the trunk, memorizing everything. She climbs down and carries her memories home. Does she carry her memories in her hand? Where does she carry her memories? Turn to your mom or your dad or your cat or your dog or whoever is sitting by you and tell them where she carries her memories. Losha, where do you think she carries her memories? He's not listening to me. He's asleep. It's time for him to go to bed. In school the next day, Sophie is very excited. She knows her painting will show how much she loves the tree. She can see it in her mind. But when she paints the trunk gray, it looks dull and sad, and it feels all wrong. My tree isn't sad at all, Sophie thinks. What can I do? She paints her tree turquoise blue. Wow, not sad anymore. But now she has another problem. If the tree is blue, what color is the sky? I love Sophie's tree. Sophie paints the sky orange. Now the tree pops right out. The beech looks wonderful the way it makes her feel. But plain green leaves look too dark. Sophie remembers how each leaf glowed in the sun. She tries yellow and mixes in some green. She even knows this color's name. Chartreuse. Yes. Oh my gosh, Sophie's tree is fabulous. Oh, I think he woke up. How can she make the tree still more wonderful? She paints yellow all around it as if it's shining. She fills her shining tree with animals she's seen in the woods. Oh, is Sophie ever happy now? I love Sophie's tree. Her tree would make me really happy too. Andrew looks over at her painting. Sophie, your tree is wrong. He says real trees aren't blue. Other children move closer to see. You made a goofy orange sky too, Andrew says. Everyone starts to giggle. We're supposed to paint a real tree, Sophie. You did it wrong. Oh my gosh. That doesn't seem like a very nice way to talk to someone else. Sophie feels her face get hot. She stares down at her sneakers. She feels tears dribbling down her face and her cheeks. She wants to just not be there. Everybody is giggling and whispering. Why did she do it all wrong? She hates her picture. She hates to paint. Poor Sophie. Suddenly, Mrs. Mulry is there. What's happening, Sophie? She asks. She did it all wrong, says Andrew. She made it all weird colors. Mrs. Mulry smiles. Sophie, tell us about your painting, she says. It's my favorite tree, Sophie mumbles. I did look at everything just like you said. The branches go straight out and curvy and the leaves are all jaggedy. I tried painting the trunk gray, but it just looks so sad. Sophie's voice gets stronger. So I painted it bright blue because that's how it makes me feel. How is that? Asked Mrs. Mulry. It makes me feel good and strong. Yes, says Mrs. Mulry. When I look at your picture, I feel that too. She holds up Sophie's painting for the class to see. This is a beech tree, isn't it, Sophie? Sophie nods. She feels better. But trees aren't blue, Andrew says. That's true, Mrs. Mulry laughs. Sophie looked very carefully and painted what she saw, she continues, and she used color to show her feelings. I love it, using colors to show your feelings. Tell us about your picture, Andrew, Mrs. Mulry says. It's a pine tree, Andrew says. It's twisty with patchy bark. The pine needles are sharp and pokey. Sophie points at the roots. His tree is holding onto the hill like it will never let go, ever. Yes, says Mrs. Mulry. Perhaps that shows some of Andrew's feelings about his tree. She holds up the two pictures. Both artists looked carefully at their trees and made very different and very special paintings. Now let's put all the paintings on the floor. Find something special and different in every one. Maybe something you want to use the next time you paint. Sophie looks at her painting for a long time. Andrew looks at it too. Your blue tree does look kind of happy, he says. And I like how your tree holds on tight, Sophie replies. Look at all of those different trees. Tell the person that you're sitting next to what you like about each one of the trees. I'll hold it up for just a minute longer. You know what I like? I like that each one is so completely different. That's what makes them so interesting. After school, Sophie walks to her beech tree, but she doesn't feel angry or sad or hurt anymore. Sophie loves painting, and she loves her tree, and she just loves being Sophie. And I have to tell you, Larson Heights, I just love being your principal. Have a wonderful evening, and I cannot wait to see you all tomorrow night.